Dear students, let us have the revision of the poetry When You Are Old. Let us look into the summary of the poem. When You Are Old is a short lyric of 12 lines in 3 stanzas. It is a short lyric, it's very small. The poem is the product of the early period in Yeats's poetic career. This he has written in his early life, when he was young poet. It is addressed to Maud Gonne, with whom he was in love. What is the name of the lady? Maud Gonne. He was in love with that lady, and at that time he had written this poem. It forms a part of the group of poems published in 1893 with the title The Rose. This poem has been taken from his volume of book, that is The Rose. It expresses the poet's distress at the disastrous onslaught of time. So he says how time can change people and what will happen as the time passes. That's what the main theme of this poem. In this poem, the poet narrates how his beloved Maud Gonne would grow old with the passing of time. In this poem, what does he say? He says that how his beloved will grow old as the time passes away. As the time passing by, how his lover will grow old. Her liveliness and youthful energy would vanish, and she would pass the time dozing by the fireside as old people want to do. How will she spend her time in her old age? She will not have the youthful energy, right? Everybody is same. We will not have that liveliness of youthfulness, and we will not have that youthful energy. And that's what he says. His lady will be spending time dozing means like feeling sleepy. In a sleepy mood, she will spend her time at the fireside. That's what he says. She would perhaps pick up the volume of the poet's collected poems and slowly go through the verses wherein the poet has declared his love for her and admire her graces and charms. He says that when she grows old, let her take up that book of poem which he had written for her, where he had appreciated her for her beauty and charm. She would be reminded of the loveliness of her eyes that she once possessed and of their deep sorrows. In that book, what he has written? He has written about the loveliness of her eyes, means how sweet were her eyes, and not only that, and her deep sorrows behind her eyes. Not only the beauty of the eyes, but what is there behind her eyes, the sorrow, the difficulties that she had faced in life. At that time, she might think that many young people loved her for her beauty and youth, but there was only one whose love was sincere and genuine, and it was certainly the poet himself. So in her old age, she will feel that many people had loved her in her youthful years, but the one who loved her very much was only the poet himself. The poet loved her not for her physical beauty only, but also loved her for her soul. Means, he says that here, not only poet did not love not her body alone, the beauty of her physical body, but he loved her soul. It was the poet among all others who would feel for her and love her because sorrow and suffering were depicted on her face. The pursuit of the poet's love poems would set his beloved thinking longingly of the past. She would then realize the worth and importance of the poet's love. When she grows old, she will understand how worth her lover's, that is poet's love. With the realization, she would mutter to herself with anguish that he was no more alive. He was dead and gone, and his soul must either be hovering among the mountains or it must have become part of the galaxy of the stars over it. At that time, she will realize that. Now she won't realize because she has gone after some other men and married them. But he feels that when she old, she will realize after my death that she will long for me because I will be behind mountains and hidden among the stars. That's what she says. He says. So the poem presents a portrait of decaying and dying youth and beauty. So through this poem, the poet wants to tell us that as the time passes, our youthfulness passes away, there will not be any beauty, physical beauty. The poet has referred to it time and again, quite passionately, all through his poetic career. Maud Gonne, his beloved, was a proud and headstrong girl. The poem sounds a note of warning to her. The idea is that if she does not reciprocate his love, which is not merely physical but spiritual too, she would have to repent for her folly in her old age. Her youth and beauty would either wither and vanish one day, and lovers who hover round her, lured by her bloom, would desert her one by one. They will leave and go one by one, okay, her lovers. Then she would smart with the sense of remorseful agony for her cruelty and callousness towards the poet. The poet intends forewarn her. The perusal of the poet's love poems would set his beloved thinking longing of the past. She would then realize the worth and importance of the poet's love. With the realization, she would mutter to herself with anguish that he was no more alive. He was dead and gone, and his soul must either be hovering. I think that I have already done it. Okay. Let's now look into some of the questions in this part. How does the speaker distinguish his love from that of the others in the poem when you are old? So there were other men also who loved his lady love. So how does he distinguish between their, how does he make a difference between his love for her and the love of other men whom she loved during her youthfulness? The speaker is expressing his deep and unending love for a woman. He asks the woman to consider her future and whatever life will be like when she reaches her old age. He is asking her to think of her future and what will happen to her when she becomes old. He believes that she will no doubt reflect upon her youth and lost beauty. She says that she will surely lose her beauty when she becomes old. When she was young, she had many suitors and admirers. Okay, many men were behind her. Many loved her for her external beauty, outside beauty. Their love for her was not true, and many loved the lady's moments of glad grace. Okay, their love for her was not true. Okay, they were simply behind her for her physical beauty. Their love was transitory. Transitory means ending. Okay, just for the sake of wealth, maybe beauty, or somebody loves. It is an ending love. It is not a permanent love. The speaker loved her pilgrim soul. So the poet says he loved truly that lady because he loved her soul. He loved her questing soul and the sorrows of her changing face. The poet's love is in contrast to the glad grace of her other admirers. His love for her is beyond physical beauty. Not only it was limited to her physical beauty, but it was beyond that. He loved her for her thoughts and ideas. Even after he was dead, he would watch her from among the stars above. He felt that it was true love. He felt that his love for that lady was true love. How is the one man different from the many others who loved the lady? Same question. Similar question. How does the speaker distinguish, contrast his love from with that of others? Same. The narrator asks his lady love to presume that she had grown old and grey and is sitting by the fire nodding. Then he asks her to read for her book of memories and reminisce her past, means think of her past when she was in her prime youth. While she is thus engaged in recalling the past, the poet reminds her that though she undoubtedly had a great many suitors who admired her beauty and elegance and professed love, which may be true or false, he alone loved her unconditionally. He alone loved her without any condition. He says that he loved her inner beauty and even the fading away of her youth and beauty. The praise how many in the first line, second stanza, stands in contrast to but one man in the third line. While many suitors loved her beauty and elegance, he alone loved her pilgrim soul as well as the sorrows of her changing face. So in one place he uses many suitors but one man, means he alone loved her truly, others all just simply. Question number 2. How does the poem bring out the transient nature of beauty as against the permanence of love. So how the transient nature of beauty is against the permanence of love. Yes, the poem, while making an attempt to persuade the young lady not to ignore him or his love, also incidentally highlights the transient nature of beauty as against the permanence of love. He says beauty is transient, means it is ending. It will end one day. When the youthfulness goes, beauty will end. But love is always there, permanent it is. It has no death, it will not die away. In fact, the speaker's argument is that whereas all her suitors are merely attracted by her youthful beauty and elegance, he is attracted by her pilgrim soul. Furthermore, he claims that the love exhibited by her many suitors may not last long and might change as she grows old. That's what he says. On the contrary, his love will remain constant and unconditional because he loved his soul. He would love her pilgrim soul as well as the changes in her face which appear as she grows old. He says that he loved since he loved her soul, even though her beauty will vanish. One day she will become old and she will become grey, her face will be wrinkled and she will become weak and there is no liveliness in her body. Even then he will love her because he loved not her body but he loved her soul, and that is the true love. If you love a person's heart, it becomes true love. If you love only physical body and when the physical charm ends, that will end. Thus the poet, using the phrase "your moments of glad grace" and the last line of the second stanza in contrast with the phrase "sorrows of your changing face." So in the fourth line suggests that beauty is transient in nature whereas love is permanent. So love is permanent because beauty will change, sorrows, and the poet says that he could read the sorrows behind her. That changing face means he would love every moment of her life as she was growing old, as she was facing challenges and difficulties of life. He says that he felt it truly. Okay, that is what he says, that the beauty is temporary but love is always permanent. So these are the main two questions which you should keep in mind. There will be also other questions which are discussed in the video, like questions like comment on the usage of time frame by the poet. Time frame is the difference between when the lady is young and the time frame when the lady becomes old. Okay, what will happen to the lady and what had happened when she was young. So when you are old is a poem of contrast. What contrast do you find in the poem? What purpose do they serve? What is the contrast you find? Contrast is that some people only love the physical body of the person, but there are few who really love a person, her soul, her heart, her qualities, and that love will be always there. That love has no death. And there is one more question. How is one man different from the many others who loved the lady? That is, one man is who here? The poet, because he loved the soul of the person, and other men all loved their physical beauty. That is why he says that one man, that is the poet, is different than other all men who loved her. And one more question, does the poem bring out the transient nature of beauty as against the permanence of love? That's what is the question we have discussed just now. Transient means changing nature of beauty. How the beauty changes, you also will change. Your thinking also will change. Your attraction also will change. But if you truly love, love has no end. Love is always there, whether you have physical beauty or no, whether you have strength in your body or whether you have liveliness in your body. If you have true love, nothing can stop the person in loving you. That is what the contrast or the meaning behind this poem. Mainly the poet expresses his true love for the lady whom he loved in his youthful years and who had gone beyond some other men because of her physical beauty.